Welcome back to the channel, guys. I just want to give my quick take on these two wheels, the InMotion Challenger versus the Master Pro. So first off, I'm very happy that both wheels exist, okay? Personally, looking at it from an outside perspective, where I'm not likely to buy the wheel anytime soon, I think it's a good addition to the wheels that currently exist. So I made a list of things I think that's important to note, and here we go. So first thing is, these are fast, long-range wheels. The Master Pro has the biggest battery of the two with 4,800 watt hours compared to 3,024 watt hour for the Challenger. So the Challenger is spec'd at about 55 plus miles an hour, limited, with a free wheel spin of about 88 miles an hour. The Master has a free wheel spin of about 75 miles an hour, so we know that should be around 60 plus miles an hour. The InMotion V13 Challenger appears to have a lot better build quality than the Master because of the rails and the shell. Now, the fact that it has a shell makes InMotion very unique by today's standards because both Kingsong and Gotway appear to be going in a shell-less design. However, InMotion doesn't seem to have that same approach to their design philosophy. And that's good because it offers different options. Number 4, both wheels are insanely heavy, but this is not unusual because they are both very long-range wheels with suspension, which also adds to their weight. Number 5, with the enclosed suspension of the Challenger, we can already assume that maintenance will be low compared to the Master Pro, with the suspension being a lot more exposed. Number 6, now with that said, neither wheel is designed for off-roading. So if anyone takes these off-roading, just keep in mind that big jumps and crashes might not be a good idea due to the added weight of the batteries. Also, in case you do take them off-roading, the InMotion Challenger will most likely do better in a crash than the Master Pro, once again, because of the shell. So now for distinguishing features between the two. Number 1, the InMotion Challenger is equipped with Type-C USB port. The Master doesn't appear to have any USB for such a big battery. That's kind of surprising. I hope they change that before the release date. Number 2, the Challenger has protective rails for both front and back, whereas the Master appears to be completely vulnerable to even the slightest of crashes. I expect to spend more money, obviously, for protection for the Master Pro after spending over $4K for the Master. All right, number 3, the Challenger has a rare and robust mudguard, whereas the Master Pro does not seem to have one based on the recent videos I saw, but let's just wait and see. Because if you go to Ewheels, it does say that it's very similar to the original Master. Number 4, the Master Pro's parts appear to be easily accessible with its extremely modular design. Now, even though the Challenger has shell, it claims to be extremely modular and user-friendly as well. Based on recent renderings from InMotion, the main board of the Challenger appears to be better protected and has an IPX5 rating for waterproofing, whereas the board on the Master Pro does not appear to be rated at all. And if it's anything designed as the Master, the original Master, then we can expect that it's probably not waterproof at all. Now for performance. So if speed is important to you guys, both wheels deliver quite well. The Master will probably do a lot better over a much longer distance due to the bigger battery size. Number 2, the InMotion might just be able to keep up in range with the Master, if only because of its limited speed to 55 miles an hour. Again, we know that it can do free wheel spin of over 88 miles an hour, or exactly 88 miles an hour. My assumption is with that 55 mile per hour limit, there will be less drain on the batteries in theory, and as a result, probably eke out as much range as you possibly can get out of that 3,000 watt hour battery. Number 3, maneuverability on both wheels seems to be very good as seen in recent videos. So I'm just going to show you the 2 videos that was given to us. So first we'll start with the InMotion. All right, so that was the InMotion. Now, obviously, that video was not impressive at all, but it was very useful. It just gave us an idea of the size of the wheel compared to the rider. There was no performance riding or testing for braking or maneuverability or anything. It's just a basic ride. I'm not too impressed, but it was good to see how big it might be. And here's the Master Pro. Hey. Okay, so that was the Master Pro. That video is actually more impressive than the InMotion Challenger, in my opinion, because it definitely demonstrated how big it was. The camera was extremely close up to the wheel, which allows me to really look into this, the possibility of how big this thing really is. And it looks manageable. The guy who was riding it appeared very small. He was able to obviously maneuver it around. I believe there was another video of him maneuvering it around some really tight quarters, and that was extremely impressive. Check out EUC Serbia, obviously. Credit to him for this video. But yeah, this is a really manageable wheel, and it's similar. It seems like it's similar to the Monster. It seems like it might be a lot thinner than the Monster because there is no shell. Whereas the Monster, you have the batteries and the shell, which could add some. But I did have an experience with the Monster for a little bit, and it honestly was not that bad. Obviously, the difference between the Monster Pro and the Master Pro is suspension and that beautiful seat. The problem I had with the Monster Pro when I rode it was that every time you lift up try to use the handle, you would have to take out the seat. Very inconvenient. Same with my EXN. The trolley seems to be right where the seat is. So this one is pretty cool. The trolley is where the seat is, but when you're seating, you don't need the trolley. And if you're not seating, it's easy to just pop that thing up and push it around. So I love the look of the Master Pro. I don't like the fact that it has no protection at all. So obviously, like I said earlier, you can expect to spend some money after you've spent over $4,000 for such a beast. So overall, I love both wheels. They both look fantastic, well executed from both companies. I like the fact that Gotway, has this design philosophy where, it's all bare bones. So if they want to compete with anyone else and just create another wheel, no big deal. Just scale it up, scale it down, whatever. Add some batteries. That's it. Nothing changes for that much. So fantastic stuff. Great videos, but as you all know, nothing beats real world testing. So these things need to come into the real world for us to find out exactly how these things perform. So we'll just have to wait and see. So number 4, seating is possible in the Master Pro and is intelligently incorporated into the design of the wheel. But we haven't yet seen that for the Challenger. I assume they're going to release it with a seat. Maybe you might have to pay more for it. It seems like it because it's not included. Number 5, both wheels are above 100 volts and are only about 10 volts apart, not that much apart. I have a feeling you won't really be able to tell the difference, especially because of their weight. So the acceleration is probably not going to be any different between the two, mainly because of their size and weight. So availability, the Challenger is expected to arrive in late December and the Master Pro sometime in December, according to Ewheels. But we know that these wheels are being tested right now as we speak. Both wheels have an early bird special price. Check the link in the description to find out more. Now, here's the main topic of this video. Who is this wheel for? Okay. And to be blatant with you, anyone that can afford it. If you can afford the wheel, get the wheel. But here's the thing. Here's my personal take, regardless of price. Obviously, this is not a new rider's wheel, as we always say with new massive wheels or high performance wheels. But, in my experience with the Sherman, the bigger the wheel is, it seems to be a lot easier to ride for some reason. So if you do end up getting this as a new rider, obviously don't go in the streets. You know what to do. go in a park or somewhere, learn it. It just seems to have a lot more balance because it's bigger. Honestly, this is for long range people, man. That's what it's built for. It's built for long range, and it's definitely not built for people with apartments who do not have elevators, clearly. I could easily imagine someone with a house in a garage just, having that garage button on their helmet or something. Come up to your garage, you push that button, head right into your garage, charge it, head out the next morning or next day. That's how I see this being used. Obviously, different use cases, people will do what they want to do. Honestly, I live on the first floor. I would get it and push it up some stairs because I love range. I would love to be able to go to work, 30 miles away without a care in the world about battery. So I attempted to do that with my MSP and my EXN. Well, mostly my MSP, which is an 1800 watt hour battery. And my work was about 15 miles away. So it was 30 miles in total going and coming back. Going, I would blaze it, charge up my wheel, blaze back home. Charging wasn't a big deal because 8 hours of work at the end of the day, I'm good. But this, no need to worry about charging at all. Now, what's interesting about size and Ewheels or electric unicycles is this. Because they were portable in the beginning, we enjoyed the fact that, listen, these things are so small. They have a very small footprint or space print. So we don't really have to worry about people questioning us. Hey, what is this thing? It's so small. We just put it on our desk, bring it upstairs, put it wherever we need to put it. People ask questions, but they're not really concerned because it's so small. Now you have something so massive. If you end up bringing it to work, more questions might be asked because it's so invasive. That's the only issue. But that's just something to keep in mind. So it's possible to lock the V13 outside, as you can see with the rails and the rim. Same with the Master. You can just take a very strong lock and put it through the rim, and you'll be good if you're into that. But for the most part, these wheels are obviously not stealthy. That's the obvious thing here. So I do absolutely love the seat of the Master Pro. So for those who like long range, you won't have to worry about buying a seat or taking out the seat or misplacing the seat or losing the seat because of a bump. It's just incorporated. But what's fantastic about both wheels is the suspension. That's what's fantastic. The Monster Pro, as it is a very comfortable wheel, okay? And it's been unique in its category for a very long time with unopposed from any other company. I was not expecting such a massive wheel from InMotion, to be honest. I was expecting something smaller, similar to the Master or the Kingsong S22. I did not expect this massive monster of a wheel from InMotion. Last thing that came to my mind. But what's disappointing to me is that with such a massive, area of a wheel, the battery is only 3,024 watt hours. That's 300 watt hours more than my EXN. That's not impressive at all. But again, I'm very happy that both these wheels exist, and long range people, that's who it's for. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's just look forward to this coming out so we can all test it. Check the link in the description if you plan on placing a pre-order on any of these. That will help me out. Until next time, happy riding.